Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Allie. This is the top comment. Here I read and react to wild internet drama in the form of Reddit stories. So if you like this type of content, please don't forget to subscribe. It's totally free and it means a whole lot to me. Today's episode is a little bit different. It's a combination of Tuesdays and Thursdays episodes. So if you have already watched those episodes and you want a couple of free bonus stories, go ahead and use the timestamps at the bottom. But if you haven't watched Tuesdays and Thursdays episodes, today's episode combines them. And in Tuesdays and Thursdays episode, we talked all about relationships gone wrong, horrible exes, men being losers. So that's what today's episode is all about. It is called Kisses to My Exes. The title of this first story says, "My boyfriend only applies to cool jobs." Hear me out. My 33-year-old boyfriend is a good person. He is a good partner, but he seems to have immature views on work and only applies to cool jobs. He recently finished his education and currently has a job that he hates. He talks about quitting every day. I don't think it's an empty threat. Don't get me wrong, I don't believe it's healthy to keep you at a job that you absolutely dread, but I'm also a realistic person, and the unfortunate exchange we take part in is where we need money for life. Yeah, agreed. He spends most days applying for jobs I imagine many middle school boys are interested in. Okay, go off. Tell us more. I'm talking like special agent or XYZ detective or wildlife monitor. All very cool, pretty much low paying, which he doesn't understand. He applies, but then says, geez, that's nothing. Who lives on that salary? As if he doesn't understand that cool jobs attract people based on the scope of work, so they don't have to use money as much to attract applicants. Yeah, you got to use your brain here, my guy. He gets somewhat far with some of them, but then sometimes there's a barrier. At this point, I wish one of them would stick so that he could have the experience of what it's actually like. Another part of the issue is he doesn't understand every job as admin tasks along with the fun stuff. He talks about every job's action you can have, like a little boy talking about how firemen use the water hose so good at work. I'm sure I'll get flack for being a bad partner or maybe even being too patient. I guess I've been understanding because I remember what it was like graduating college and thinking my job was going to be so fun and purposeful and change the world probably. After a few years, I understood that sometimes even good jobs are just, well, jobs. They are good some days and bad others, and usually don't make that much impact, and that's okay. I agree. If you are just absolutely dead end in your job, yeah, you should go find something else. But sometimes we got to do what we got to do, and it's not always fun. And like, girl, in this economy, tell your man to go get a job. He needs to. Ultimately, my finances are not technically tied to my partner at this time. Good. There are no children. Good. But goddamn, I'm still so over having a partner who refuses to act his age professionally. I never thought I would encounter this very specific problem, but here we are. Thanks for listening. Oh, honey bear. Listen, you have to have, if you want to be in a relationship, your partner needs to be giving you more. I mean, it's good that your finances aren't tied. It's really good that you don't have children, because I automatically jump to, how long have you been together? Maybe you should just break up, because if he's only applying to these cool jobs, I assume based off of this post that you guys have had the conversation together of, hey honey, being a special agent is really cool and all, but it doesn't pay the bills and we're starving and we need toilet paper. If he is still acting this way after that, I think you need to realize that he is showing you his character and trust him on that. If he's going to show you who he is and he's going to continually not listen and put you into financial disarray over this, maybe time to split up. Let's go ahead and get into some of these comments. I do have a couple of edits from OP here. So it says, I wrote this in the midst of a sleepless night and thought I would delete it in the morning, but I'm so enjoying some of the discourse on what work means to everyone. I've gotten a full spectrum of responses and some really solid perspectives and even job recommendations I hadn't thought about. Thanks everyone for listening. Edit to answer a few frequently asked questions. 1. Cool jobs have been taken in the past and it is not a new thing. Pattern creates a risk. 2. These jobs are in-person positions that would include either both a domestic or foreign move. Oh, girl. 3. We are long-term partners with dogs. Yeah, immediately no. Dump him. I'm sorry. dump him. Some of the jobs are aligned with experience and education, but some are not. Aligned jobs are certainly welcome and would justify a move for our household. Yeah, you can't go move across the world with this guy, because what's going to happen when you get there and he hates all of the admin tasks from his job, and then all of a sudden you have uprooted your entire life? I have 3 dogs. Getting dogs into a different country is not easy. It's not. I mean, there's so much requirements that come with it. And it also costs a lot of money to be able to relocate like that. And then what happens if you get stuck there and he's just being a loser and doesn't want to actually get a real job and doesn't want to work and realizes that, oh my gosh, I hate all this admin stuff. This is a nightmare situation. Like this could easily be really horrible for OP. I feel for you. I moved across the country and my ex-partner didn't want to get a job either. So I relate to this on like a spiritual level, because it wasn't easy. Like it really wasn't. When we got here, it was like in Colorado, it was a struggle. So I support you fully in whatever you decide. But if you do decide to dump him, just know that you have a little cheerleader here who is entirely on your side. For sure. 100%. So now that we've done the edits, let's go ahead and get into the comments, because that's sometimes where a lot of the drama lies, and I am so here for the tea. Okay, so the top comment on this post said, let him know there's plenty of paperwork when you're a firefighter, tons of checks, inspections, chores, and lots of unfun stuff. The days are long, you work holidays and birthdays, and you work in any weather year round. Even the cool jobs have tons of unfun crap, and that's before you even start talking about pay. Yeah, that's fair. It's work, baby. At the end of the day, it's work. You know what I mean? It can't all be fun and games. This next comment says, I had a literal dream job for 7 years running sled dogs in Colorado. I lived on a ranch with 56 huskies I absolutely loved. Lots of puppies. Love that. Love dogs. 56 of them is quite a few. But I also woke up at the crack of dawn to muck and barn and scoop the yard. Did the same before bed. Day off? Not if it snowed overnight, automatically on shovel duty. Finished running dogs for the day. Time for trail maintenance. Finally got the trail running perfect. Here's another 3 feet of snow to deal with. That's Colorado, babes. That's Colorado to a T. No matter where you live out here, the weather is just, it's very unpredictable. I mean, it's awful. The next comment says, yes, this might be true, but at the end of the day, water goes whoosh and fire goes psh. That's pretty sick. The next one down says, yeah, I'm a scientist. It's literally an office job that sounds cool at parties, which you don't get invited to because you're at work all hours of the day. You see what I mean? Even people that like that scientist, you know, they went to a lot of school and you know that this is probably what they wanted to do, or maybe along the same lines of that. And even they're sitting here saying like, you're at an office literally all day. Like you're not out like conducting experiments or whatever scientists do. All right, this next one says, only applying for cool jobs is fine if you're already employed and providing. Until you're at that point, any job is a cool job. I agree. I've had some jobs in my life that I did not want to do, and I did them because necessity. I have 3 dogs. Did I mention that? You'll probably see them in the background at some point. They're in here. This last comment says, he sounds like a G, to be honest. Your opinion will change when he's raking in the big bucks, hunting down vampires. That's what I'm talking about. You sound like a queen. You sound like you have your head on straight. And I hope that your next relationship, he's able to provide, because this guy clearly has a couple of screws loose. Yeah. Not to say that we all don't, because I definitely do, but not to the point where I'm just not going to work. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. In this economy, girl, really? No. All right. This next story is about a woman who is very angry at her partner and wanted to spite him. So let's get into it. This one says, I cut off most of my hair to spite my husband. Last night, I used to have long, curly hair almost all the way to my butt, and I cut off most of it, now barely shoulder length, just to piss off my husband. That's a lot of hair, especially if it's curly. That's a lot of hair to cut off, girl. That's a commitment. I have wanted to cut it for a long time. Honestly, not this short, but hell, I'm happy I did it. I always kept it long because he loved it long. He called it goddess hair. There were several circumstances circumstances that led me going this far, but last night was my breaking point. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 4 kids. My husband works. I take care of the kids almost 24/7. Their ages are 8 female, 5 male, 3 male, and 2 female. Oh, girl, you got your hands full. This is some background information that is important to why I did what I did. My youngest has a totally screwed up sleep schedule that I've tried to fix, but no luck. She doesn't go to bed until 3 to 4 a.m. Oof. Then I woke up at 6 a.m. to help my husband get ready for work, got the oldest 2 kids ready for school, and he takes them to school. And then I sleep from 9 to 10 a.m., and that's when the second youngest wakes up. He takes a nap around 1, and that's when the youngest wakes up. Then my husband and kids come home at 3. I clean whatever I can, and I cook dinner around 6. I have absolutely zero time to do anything for myself, and these last 2 weeks have been even harder in particular. I didn't even have time to shower. My hair was a total wreck. I told my husband over and over again last night I want to shower. He said he didn't feel good, so he couldn't give me a break. Wow, your husband doesn't feel good. Brutal for him. Bummer. So he stayed in our bedroom playing on his phone. I get the youngest to bed. I decided to sacrifice my sleep time to shower. Right when I'm headed towards the shower, my husband runs in the bathroom and takes a shower. Something in me broke. I chopped off all my hair while he was showering with a pair of blunt kitchen scissors and have zero regrets. He hates it. I'm happy with it. And I've reached a point where I just don't give a what he thinks anymore. He sounds like a loser. He sounds awful. He took the shower from you. Like, I don't know about where you live, but my water only stays hot for like 10 minutes, and that's enough for one person to shower. So did he use all the hot water too? Like, why is he so inconsiderate? You are literally raising his children. You are raising his flesh and blood, and that is profoundly disrespectful, my guy. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. It looks like we actually have a lot of comments from OP here, which is pretty cool. Sometimes they just ghost you after posting a story and you never hear, so it's nice to be able to have comments. So the top comment on this one says, "Why are you guys married?" My thoughts exactly, girl. OP responds, "He didn't do this crap until shortly after our last child was born. Before that, he literally was the perfect father. He worked, he'd pitch in with the household chores if I ever needed him to, spent all the time in the world with the kids, which gave me time to take care of myself. Literally, I couldn't ask for more." That's heartbreaking too, when somebody that you married and obviously started like a huge family with, my mind immediately goes to, okay, well, was he playing you then? Like, was he just waiting until you had the big family to sit here and be like, oh no, you can take care of all of it? I mean, I personally think he should go to therapy, but that's just my opinion. This next comment says, "So he is throwing a tantrum in his own way? Sulking, if you will?" OP responds, "I'm not sure, to be honest. All of our kids were planned except for our oldest, so I'm not sure why he's been sulking over a planned baby, if that's the case." Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. One thing I've tossed around in my mind besides depression is FOMO, the fear of missing out. We were very young when we met, young when we had our daughter, and we've been together raising kids ever since, so we both just missed out on a lot of adult activities. But he has never expressed that he seemed happy until 2-ish years ago. I'm kind of wondering how old you guys are. It's very typical for men to go through midlife crises where they feel like all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I have this family and I haven't done anything and I missed out on all of that. And I mean, that could definitely be the case, you know, if we want to give him any grace on this. But sounds to me like he needs to go to therapy and work through his issues and figure out, you know, why he is sulking and why he doesn't want to help his wife and what is making him almost make these impulsive moves of, I'm gonna run to the bathroom really, really quickly and I'm gonna take a shower when I know that she's trying to take a shower and I know she's tired and I told her I was tired. Now I've been on my phone till 3 a.m. That is a child, my girl. That's not a man. That's a baby. You have 5 children. You don't just have 4. I'm so sorry for you. I sincerely hope that things get better, because I can't even imagine how miserable that would be to just not have any help. Like, you deserve help from the person that, you know, helped bring these children into the world, because without him, there wouldn't be them, and he needs to pick up the slack on that. All right, moving right along. We're gonna jump back in time a little bit. We just heard about a woman who is in a tough spot in her marriage. Now we're gonna jump into teenagers on a date. So the title of this one says, "A guy left me stranded on a first date." My blood immediately starts to boil when I read this. This is nuts. Like, this is crazy. I don't care how old you are. This is crazy. So I, a 19-year-old woman, went on a date with a guy, a 19-year-old man, for the first time. It was a beautiful day where we lived, so he took me to this nature park and we went on a walk. We talked about our lives and I honestly thought it was going really well. After the walk, he said he needed to use the restroom. I did too, so he drove us to the nearest store where we could pee, which was a Best Buy. I went into the bathroom and he did too. When I came out, I waited, and I waited for him to come out. I finally got worried and texted him. The message did not go through, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt and assumed his phone died, and then got tired of waiting and went to check to see if his car was still in the parking lot. Sure enough, it wasn't. I went back inside and I asked the person in the front if they saw a man leave the store. They said they saw him run out of the store in a hurry a bit ago. So he left me stranded at a Best Buy 20 minutes from my house. Loser. Immediately no. I don't care how old you are. You could be 80 years old and if you were with someone and they ditch you, that is profoundly wrong. That's inherently wrong. The world that we live in is scary. Like, I'm not quite sure where this took place, but you don't leave people stranded like that. Like, that's horrible. I Uber home and I'm pissed. So I decided to find his family member on social media and tell them what he did. I eventually found out who I think is his sister and told her the whole story. She ensured she would get my things back to me, as some were still in his car, and even offered to reimburse me for the Uber. Some may think I'm crazy, but when one goes low, I go lower. I got my things back and they were clearly thrown in my yard out of his window. Someone was mad that their family knows what a POS they are. Girl, you dodged a bullet. This guy is horrible. He is such bad news bears. I can't believe he just left you stranded and then like took your stuff too. I mean, if you wanted to be petty and take it a step further, well, I don't know. I guess maybe I was going to say call the cops on him for stealing your stuff, but maybe that's a little too far. You know, we don't know the circumstance. I don't want to go there, you know? I think that's absolutely horrible. And I hope that his sister told his mom. I hope that they're disappointed. I hope that he is not just some mama's boy where his mom sits there and says, oh, my son could never do anything wrong. Because, kind of seems like that may be the type of person she is if she's going to raise a loser of a son who is going to abandon you on a first date. On a first date, bro. Like, just say, hey, this isn't working. I think I'm gonna take you home. It is not hard to say that. It's not hard to communicate. It's really, really not. I promise you. All you have to do is think the thought and then say it. Let's get into some of these comments. Not too many on this post. This seems like it was maybe a newer one. Top comment says, what an a-hole. Luckily, he let you know on the first date. Hopefully his sister talked some sense into him and he learned a lesson. The next one down says, did you get your Uber money back? OP responds and says, yes, the sister was so sweet and Venmo'd me for it. Aw, see, girls having each other's backs. I love that so much. I think that is lovely and beautiful. And that's, you know, I hope somebody can talk some sense into this man. And if not, I mean, he's just going to continue to do this to people. And like, props to you, OP, for leaving and for not going back to him and being like, why did you leave me? Like, trying to figure it out, because obviously he made himself like very clear when he decided to just completely abandon you. And I think, again, if people are going to show you who they are, you should listen. And you did. And so I'm proud of you. This one is titled, My Boyfriend is a Loser. He's 27 and already has retired due to his ADHD, so he gets a small amount of money from the government. What? I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to reread this. My boyfriend is a loser. He's 27 and has already retired due to his ADHD, so he gets a small amount of money from the government. He literally does the same things every day. Eat, sleep, go to the gym, game, watch TV. He rarely sees his friends and he posts really cringe videos on TikTok that he thinks people actually care about. He's anti-education because he thinks it's a scam. He's interested in politics, but when he talks about it, he just sounds brainwashed and naive. I'm tired of treating him like a child. He literally gets offended when I make jokes, and he doesn't understand sarcasm, which is my type of jokes. He hates that I'm currently studying at university because I'm wasting my time. I'm literally getting promoted after I finished university. I feel like we don't match each other at all. We want completely different things in life, but we don't want to break up because I really love him and I just feel stuck. I just wanted to rant. Oh, honey, you have to break up with this man. man. There are 8 billion people in the world. There are 8 billion people out here. You will find somebody who you get along with and you can easily connect with on like a deep interpersonal level. You don't have to settle just because you love him. Love is a feeling. In order to make it blossom and make it really grow, you have to be on the same page with your partner about certain things, especially about the way you joke. Like, is your relationship just so sad? Like, I don't mean to judge, but it really sounds like you should break up with him. I mean, I don't even know who you are, and I'm rooting for you because, girl, you're going to college, you're going to university right now. That's a huge accomplishment. Wanting to get promoted and wanting to get a job immediately after you get out of college, that is so admirable. For you to be able to do that is next level good. And this guy kind of just sounds like a loser. He sounds like he is, you know, like you said, brainwashed into the whole politics thing. Like, I definitely know people like that. It's really disgusting. And then when they talk down to you like that, it just makes you feel terrible inside. And I don't wish that feeling for anybody. I mean, that's horrible. I'm really sorry that you're going through this. I know you just want to rant and I know you don't want to break up with him, but you know, sometimes love just isn't enough and that's okay. And it's okay to sit back and really, you know, think about the relationship that you would have if it was somebody that cared about you and loved you and respected you. Because you might love him, but do you really love him if you're tired of the way that he thinks and talks and acts? And also, I'm sorry, I completely forgot about this because I think I had a stroke while I was reading it. He's 27 years old and he's retired because of his ADHD. Girl, I have ADHD. You can't, that's not a reasonable excuse to retire. That is not a reasonable excuse to retire at all. Like, I'm so sorry. And he gets a tiny bit of money from the government. He doesn't work and he just plays video games all day. I'm sure he has I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm sure he has some redeeming qualities, you know? I'm sure he does. You seem like a very smart girl. I mean, you obviously picked him for a reason. What are those redeeming qualities versus the ones that he has shown you? Because clearly he's showing you he's no good. Why aren't you listening? Why aren't you listening? Anyways, I'll finish ranting and we'll get into these comments. So actually it looks like there's an edit from OP first and it says, the reason I love him is because he's one of the few people who is amazing at showing how much he loves and appreciates me, gives me compliments all the time and is overly very affectionate towards me. I know he's not bullshitting me when he says he gets money from the government due to his ADHD. It's real. It's a livable amount of money, like working full-time at McDonald's, but I feel like it's an excuse to be lazy and not work. I mean, if I can get paid for my ADHD just because I have ADHD, yeah, sign me up. He also labels it as anti-establishment because he's basically scamming the government for money. No, he would love to be able to work a normal job like anyone else. He just wants to be rebellious, I guess. Edit again. There's a lot of confusion about his retirement. He was able to retire right after high school because he was offered it. Okay, now I don't like you. Why are you defending this man? Why are you defending this weird behavior? Like, he retired. That's not retirement. That is not, you didn't retire out of high school. You've never had a job. You didn't retire right out of high school. I need to know what this is. If there's not more information in the comment, OP, if you're out there listening, you better go back to that post and you better fix this because I'm starting to not like you. And like, I don't want to judge you, but at the same time, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to judge you because this is my channel and these are my hot takes. And I'm really blown away. I'm actually really blown away right now. I'm really shocked. He at 27? What? She said that he is 27. Oh, he's 27 and he's retired. Not he retired at 27. I was about to say, if he graduated high school at 27, you need to run. You need to dump him. And like, girlfriend, if you're concerned about comments, that's fine. Words of affection, I think, is a love language. That's okay. That's totally fine. No judgment there. You can find anybody that will do that will still provide and do the things that you need to do with in other ways. I mean, you can find somebody that is not retired, air quotes around retired. Okay. This man just sounds lazy. And if he's not hanging out with his friends and he's neglecting that, I mean, maybe he's going through like a mental health crisis right now because he's 27. He probably graduated a good 10 years ago and he's never done anything in his life that has meant anything or has been of any value. I mean, if you're not going to go to college, that's totally fine. If you don't want to get a job, okay. But mooching off of like government money and then saying that like you're anti-establishment because you he sounds like the type of person that sits around and listens to Joe Rogan videos all day. He sounds like the type of man that's just gonna sit there and bleed you dry. Like I almost don't believe you about this ADHD thing. Like I almost don't believe you. So let's jump into the comment and we're gonna see what the comments say. So the top comment is, I have ADHD severe and I am not retired. I didn't even know you could just get government money just for having ADHD. I don't think there are any comments from OP on here, so maybe this isn't a real story, but for the sake of the pod, we're gonna act like it is. The next comment says, I have it too, and ADHD is qualified as a disability, so this man has pled his case that he is unable to do his job due to his symptoms, and now he's on disability, not retired, which is why he receives a small monthly stipend from the government. That's okay. Okay, disability is one thing. Retired is not one thing. Okay, you're not retired. You're on disability, and that's fine. No judgment at all. Go be on disability if you want. If you're able to get it, that's totally fine. Retirement requires savings and responsibility. Facts. But we also qualify for workplace accommodations, and of course, many of us just work without any special accommodations, so it's very abnormal route for him to decide to just accept some bare minimum disability payments and stop trying to work altogether, especially since he's not even focusing on other endeavors like creating art or music. Yeah, why is he just sitting around playing video games all day? Like, at bare minimum, go on stream, make some money, like go do something with your life. Maybe you guys should sit down and have a talk. Maybe you should like suggest therapy to him, like be like, hey, you're not seeing your friends, I notice you're isolated, you know, you're showing all these signs of X, Y, and Z. I think that you would really do well with some purpose in your life. And you know, if he can't or won't, then that's fine. And if you're gonna choose to stay with him, you don't really get to complain because you know what's going on and you see it clearly. You said you're irritated with it already, and I don't know. I mean, he's approaching 30 and he's probably never had a normal job before. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I couldn't be that person. And I couldn't date that person either, because what if you get married? What is that going to look like? I don't know. If you're just looking for love and affection and compliments, like, you should just get a dog. If you are just wanting affection and compliments and love, that's totally fine, girl. That's fine. You should get a dog. Like, you should very strongly consider going to the shelter and adopting a dog, because dogs will give you love and affection. Maybe not with words necessarily, but with their eyebrows and their actions and the way that they'll like come up and lay on you. I mean, they make you feel more loved than anything in the world, in my opinion. And it sounds like that you just need to go get a dog, because this guy's a loser. That's why he's on today's episode. So the rest of the comments say pretty much everything that I just said. But why are you with him? Is there anything redeeming? Are you getting anything substantial from this relationship? No, it doesn't sound like she is. And leaving is hard, man. Leaving is hard. It's scary. I don't know y'all's past. I don't know what you've been through together, but it is difficult. And you just have to like really sit and make those life choices for yourself and say, either I am not going to be putting up with this, or, you know, it's your choice at the end of the day who you want to be with. Last couple comments say, so what do you like about him? Because it sounds like nothing. Someone replied to this comment saying she likes that he loves her. Yikes. And someone else just goes, nah, bruh, you're incompatible. You just don't want to be lonely. Pull the lever, crunk. And then the last comment says, you know, you say you just want to rant, but you know how this is going to end. Why torture yourself? Yeah, girlfriend, if you're about to come up here and you're about to say that your boyfriend is 27 years old and he is retired from his ADHD, it's not a retirement thing. We don't get to retire from this. This is our brains. This is how we are. This is how we function. I have ADHD too. And you know, I think that every single person in the story today should dump them. Maybe that should be the theme, is dump him, because he's clearly a loser. And I read stories like this all the time. So this is not unique in any way. It's just part of it. And like Sabrina Carpenter says, it's slim pickings out here. I organized a fake wedding and now my ex-wife is threatening to expose me. Not too sure why the original is gone, so I'll paste it here. Update is at the bottom. I organized a fake wedding and married my wife, and now my actual wife is threatening to expose me. I'm using a throwaway since I can't risk any anyone I know catching on, but I have to talk about this to someone. 7 years ago, I met my now wife while completing my master's degree. She was a foreign student, and when we were in the same flat for student accommodation, we hit it off immediately. It wasn't long before we started dating. Fast forward a year or two, she decided to stay in the country and we moved in together. I loved this woman and things were going great, but she eventually started to bring up the topic of marriage. Her family is very traditional and she insisted that if we were to continue being together, that we have to get married. I was strongly against this, but I seriously cannot say no to this woman, and I eventually agreed. Now, here's the kicker. I'm technically still married to my ex-wife. We did not end things on good terms, so I left without getting a divorce, changed my number and contact information. That was really smart of you. I did not want to have any contact with my ex-wife, and since my wife is foreign, she doesn't know the proper legal process required to get married here. I told her that I would deal with the legal aspects while she organized the wedding. She did have some questions as to why she never had to sign anything or provide any form of ID, but I lied and said it wasn't needed for where we live. Yikes. We had a large wedding and it would have been absolutely magical if it weren't for the fact that the whole time I was sweating bullets wondering if anyone would find out it was all a ruse. The only people who had any idea it wasn't a proper wedding were the staff, where I said that they were already legally married and were having a reception now that we had the money. We've been married for almost 3 years and she still has absolutely no idea, and it seemed like I had gotten away with the impossible. That was until last week when my actual wife reached out to me. Apparently she found out through a mutual friend that I had remarried and gotten my contact information from them. She called me all sorts of names and said that she would make sure that my wife finds out about my lies. I begged her not to and offered to get an actual divorce, but she told me that it was too late for that. I've been stressed out of my mind these past few days, and honestly, I don't know what to do. Telling my wife is absolutely off the table, as I know for a fact that she would leave me without hesitation. So, yeah, that's my situation. You are dumb. You are stringing your poor wife along in some game that she doesn't even know she's playing. You're dragging this other woman along by just not getting a divorce. You could just get a divorce. I don't understand. You're a liar, and I don't think you deserve either one of these women. If I'm gonna be completely honest, this is horrible, and the fact that you're trying to basically make yourself look good that you got away with the impossible. I don't like you. So, let's go ahead and read the update before we get into these comments, because this guy just gets absolutely shredded in these comments. So, here's the update. The last couple of days have been a whirlwind, and I'm making this update to say that you were all right. Really? Interesting. My ex-wife told my wife about the false marriage and my life has completely collapsed. My now ex-wife completely blew a gasket and was furious with me, as she should be. She accused me of keeping her as a mistress so I could have 2 wives, which I tried to tell her wasn't true, but she wasn't having it. She stormed out of the house and is staying with a friend, and the closest thing to contact I've had with her is through this friend. She has told our friends, my family, and even my job about what happened, and they are all taking her side and have shut me out completely. I got fired, and my dad called me up last night and told me I'm not welcome back home and not to contact my parents or my family. I genuinely don't know what to do now, as I will not be able to pay my rent, especially without my wife helping out financially. These are the consequences of your actions. You should have used your brain. A lot of you mentioned the issue of immigration, which I thought would not be a problem as she had a work visa. As it turns out, she had a work visa, but it expired a long time ago. She thought she would be fine since we were married, but she learned it was a sham and has been in a lot of hot water. I don't know how all of that works, so maybe that is how it works, and if that's true, then yeah, you are a huge a-hole. Apparently, after she contacted the home office, they said that if she did not get voluntarily deported, she would be detained and would have a minimum of 2 or even 5 years banned from entering the country regardless. Ooh, that's brutal. I'm not entirely sure how her family took the news, but according to the friend she is staying with, they are not happy with her and might not take her back either. So yeah, a lot has happened. I feel like complete crap, and I know that this could have been avoided, and I now have completely blown up both of our lives. Okay, you get 1 single brownie point for taking accountability at the end. Otherwise, you suck. This is horrible. You literally ruined your life. You ruined her life, and I'm so sure your actual first ex-wife is going to have a heyday in court with this. I mean, yeah, you're pretty screwed. We're gonna read the comments. The comments, there's a ton of them on this post, and they just pretty much rip OP to shreds, rightfully so. The top comment on this one says, "Thank you for posting an update. I'm going to be real with you. Much like the people in your real life, you're going to find that internet strangers here on Reddit will also be siding exclusively with your ex-wife." I know I am. Me too. She didn't deserve any of this, but you certainly had the life bomb coming your way. The next comment down says, "I feel sorry for her. You are incredibly selfish. You lied and manipulated her for your own gain. You never deserved her. She wasn't able to make informed decisions because of you, and now she is in real hot water. She didn't deserve that." I completely agree. She didn't deserve that, and I mean, I don't know how immigration works, so I don't really want to talk too much about it, but I would imagine that, yeah, she's probably pretty screwed. I hope you learn from this. I hope you come out a better person. All right, moving along. This one also comes from True Off My Chest. True Off My Chest is probably like in my top 5 favorite subreddits because it is so juicy. People will literally create like anonymous accounts and go on there and just expose every last little dirty detail that is going on in their life that they just want to get off their chest and feel better. And it is chock full of some really funny stories. So this one says, "Lived 3 weeks like my husband. Results were inconclusive. Here are my findings after 3 weeks living like my husband. Out of curiosity to find out if his methods are superior and to see if I feel any increase in contentment. Here's what I did. No strict deadline on chores, no planning ahead, do my hobbies with no regard for what else needs to be done, no meal planning, took hubby out for milkshakes when he looked cranky, no laundry until I run out of undies, and here is what I noticed. Dusting doesn't actually need to be done weekly in my house. House looked the same after 2 weeks. Meals got really weird and sometimes unhealthy, but we always found something, I guess. Sheets smell like sweat and actually need to be washed weekly. Kitchen became a huge mess really fast and it put me on edge. Ended up more difficult to clean than usual when I did get to do it. Garbage cans all over the house overflowed, but I got to them eventually. I had a lot of fun doing my hobbies and made a couple of things I'm proud of. Good for you. Love that. Milkshakes made my husband more likely to hang out with me in the evening. Lack of planning led to forgetfulness that I ended up in public with greasy hair a couple of times. Laundry took a couple of days. Once I got to it, by the time I finished, closet was full again. The only part of the experiment my husband noticed was the milkshakes. Conclusion, I'll probably keep up with the kitchen and bed sheets and the bathroom too. Maybe ditch the weekly dustings and leave it until things look dirty. Keep the milkshake routine. I don't know. I learned less than I thought I would. It's hard if you are a routines person and you are with a non-routines person. That's definitely a challenge. I just want to see what these comments say. This post actually got deleted. Fortunately, I had screenshots of it ahead of time. I mean, if you live in such an opposite way from someone and you're trying to live the exact same way as them, but it goes against everything that's in your nature, I'm proud of you for trying. I'm proud of you for trying this experiment. I feel like this was probably good for you in the long run. And I don't know. I mean, you have to keep up with chores. For me, my chores day is on Sunday every week. I do everything. I dust, I sweep. Summertime, I will bathe my dogs because they, you know, after long walks, they smell like they've been working hard at the Frito factory. All right, let's get into some of these comments. The top comment says, "Congrats for doing the experiment, but I have to say, I literally left my husband over his inability to pick up after himself. Didn't matter how much work I did, he could be in a room for less than 5 minutes and somehow manage to trash it. The difference between living with him and living on my own is night and day, and I do not regret my decision at all." Yeah, I mean, if you are doing 100% of the chores and your husband is not pitching in, or partner or wife or, you know, whoever it may be, have a conversation with them. If they are not fixing things and they're still not doing it, I mean, yeah, this commenter was definitely right to leave, because for me, that would personally drive me nuts. Like, I can't live in a dirty environment. I can't. I have to have clean. I have to make my bed every morning, and it's part of it. For me, it's mental health, and it sounds like maybe for that commenter it was too. The next comment says, "I was told that I seem to have so much time to do it all, plus take care of the kids and work the same job as him. I was done." So it sounds like a lot of these people actually left their partners for it, and I can't say I blame them. It's hard. It really is. The next comment says, "Did your husband notice? Did he attempt to help pick up the slack, or did he just remain completely oblivious?" The only comment that I saw on here from OP before this post was deleted, it says, "He never noticed." And that's insane to me. Like, that's nuts. How do you not notice that your space is cluttered and dirty and dishes aren't getting done? And what do you do after 2 weeks of having no laundry? Your socks get crunchy. Like, do you want to walk around in crunchy, gross socks all day? I don't. That's disgusting. The next comment down says, I bet he did notice, but he knew you'd get around to doing all of it, so did f all. That's very true. That could possibly be a thing, is that he probably was just in his own head and he's sitting there like, oh, she'll just do it. Maybe she's busy. Weaponized incompetence. The next comment says, then you ended the experiment too soon. Yeah, if he didn't notice, you might have ended this experiment a little too soon. I mean, what if you had just sat there and let everything pile up for like a month? I think you would have exploded. I think OP probably, their head would have just, I don't think there would have been anything left. All right, this next story is coming from AITAH, which is kind of similar to the traditional Reddit, am I the a-hole? And since we are going to be judging this person, I have a sparkly gavel. We're gonna be the judge, so buckle up. This story says, am I the a-hole for letting my boyfriend get a taste of his own medicine? Let's find out. Okay, so a 29-year-old woman is writing about her 27-year-old boyfriend, saying, he has this habit of constantly calling me dumb or stupid. It started as a joke at first. I laughed along. But over time, it became his go-to way of addressing me no matter the situation. I asked him, begged him to stop, especially in front of his friends, but he would always just chuckle and say, what? But you are dumb. His friends even picked up on it, and now they casually call me dumb too. It's humiliating. I immediately hate this person. You should break up. Why are you together? There's no redeeming quality in my mind if somebody's going to continually degrade you in front of their friends and family, or at all. That's completely unacceptable. I started avoiding his social gatherings because I knew I'd just be the butt of their jokes. Whenever I told him how much it bothered me, he'd say I was being too sensitive and that it was just a joke. Yeah, you know, it's really funny. Narcissists and abusers love to tell you that it's just a joke. As soon as you get offended about something that's actually offensive, they love to just say, oh, it's just a joke, because it minimizes your feelings. Last night, I hosted a party with my work colleagues. It was important to me because I work in a competitive field and many of my coworkers are incredibly accomplished. I introduced my boyfriend to everyone hoping he'd be on his best behavior, but of course he wasn't. Barely an hour in, he started the dumb comments again. My close work friends are used to me venting about this, but one of my senior colleagues, an incredibly sharp, no-nonsense woman, was clearly unimpressed. She turned to him and said, hey, you're a guest here and you do realize who you're talking to, right? Maybe cut the dumb comments. He laughed like he always does. Then later in the evening, I accidentally dropped my drink while reaching for it, and right on cue, he loudly called me dumb again. That's when my senior completely shut him down. You know, everyone in this room has either an advanced degree, multiple certifications, or years of experience in the field, including my name, who's one of the smartest and most competent people I worked with. The only person here without those credentials is you. So if we're talking about intelligence, you're the least qualified person to judge. Dead silence. For the first time ever, my boyfriend had nothing to say. He went completely red and barely spoke for the rest of the night. Good. Shut him down. When we got home, he was livid. He said I should have defended him and that I let my colleague humiliate him and that what she said was unnecessary and cruel. I just looked at him and said, so now you know how it feels. He's sulking and acting like I'm the bad guy. For what it's worth, my senior later apologized to him before leaving and saying she didn't mean to be too harsh but was just looking out for me. Now he's acting like I betrayed him, but I can't bring myself to feel bad. After years of him publicly embarrassing me, as if it wasn't fair enough for him to finally experience what he put me through, am I the a-hole? No! You're not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole. You sound like a wonderfully accomplished woman. For being 29 years old and already having your senior in your position say such wonderful things about you and to defend you, you've been with this person for years and he has been degrading you so much to where you think that you're the problem. Like, you're actually sitting here thinking that you're the problem right now. You have been conditioned to think that you're the problem because he has been making fun of you and downright bullying you for years. Girl, you need to dump him, okay? Listen to me. If you're out there watching this right now, you need to break up with him. He is no good. He is manipulating you. He is degrading you. He's bullying you. He doesn't even like you. If he's going to continually call you dumb and stupid, it sounds like he's jealous because it sounds like you are incredibly intelligent. You have it all going for you. He really sounds jealous in my opinion, and I really think that you should break up with him because as hard as that might be, going through your life hearing this this all the time, that's only going to do more mental damage on you, and you're never going to feel good enough. And you deserve to feel good enough, because clearly, babe, clearly you're good enough. And all of your friends seem to think so. All of your colleagues seem to think so. And, you know, if you have family out there that's in your life, I would imagine they think so as well. So read the room, baby girl. Leave. All right, let's get into some of these comments yet. There's no official verdict on this post, but I already gave it. You're not the a-hole, not even in the slightest at all. So the top comment on this one says, not the a-hole. Are you sure you want to be with this person who clearly demeans you regularly, is emotionally abusive, something your very tremendously awesome colleague caught on to immediately? Your senior rocks and is wonderful. I hope she is your mentor. You have really great people that are looking out for you, and they see the situation a lot more clearly than you do. And if you need advice on further steps, I highly recommend you go to them and say, what should I do? Because if they're gonna stand up for you, they're gonna give you the right advice. All right, OP responds and says, right, she saw in one night what I've been dealing with for years. It really put things into perspective for me. It's got me thinking, why have I put up with this so long? It's really sad. I'm sorry. You need to break up with him. You will find somebody that will absolutely worship the ground you walk on. And I think that they're going to be really proud of your success, and they're going to celebrate you instead of putting you down. This last comment on here says, it's sad that he's sulking instead of reflecting on his behavior. You deserve a partner who lifts you up. The last comment on here says, he is sulking, playing the victim, trying to get her to apologize to him for not sticking up for him when her colleague rightfully called him out for his horrid behavior. If he gets her to apologize to him, he reclaims the power in the relationship. He is a deeply insecure bully who puts his far more accomplished girlfriend down to nag her into being insecure about himself. He thinks this is how to keep her attached to him and for him to maintain control over her. The sulking is to make her apologize so he doesn't have to hold himself accountable for his horrid behavior. It's also so he can position himself in the relationship to continue to be able to chip away at her self-esteem by continuing to publicly humiliate her. Negging is controlling and emotional abuse. He will never reflect on his behavior. Men who resort to these tactics are bottom of the barrel. Instead of working to be the man their amazing girlfriend slash wife deserve, they would rather put an anchor around their partner's neck to sink them down beneath their laziness. He is not interested in growth and change. He just wants control. I agree. You're not the asshole. All right. This next story is from one of my other favorite subreddits called Petty Revenge. So this one says, my ex constantly locked me out of the bathroom, so I took matters into my own hands. I was with my ex for a while. It was an unhappy relationship. I had bladder control issues and IBS. Whenever I needed to go to the bathroom, they would just run in first and take their sweet time just to irritate me and make me suffer. That's really mean. It went on for a long time, and one day I just about had it. We had 2 cats and 2 litter boxes. One day he went running to the bathroom and was just playing on his phone and plucking his face hair and refused to let me go, so I decided I would just go poop in the cat's litter box. Not only was it a big poop, but I also peed a little. The cats literally wouldn't use that litter box after, and then my ex came and was investigating it and saw, and he goes, wow, they pooped a lot, no wonder they wanted their box cleaned. And I just sat there and watched him clean up my that was near the end of our relationship, and he never found out. Edit, my ex and I were together for 4 years, and he was a gamer and a pothead. When he would run to the bathroom, he would take his phone and his Nintendo Switch with him. I love you. You are so funny. You are the queen of petty revenge. This is hilarious. And rightfully so. I mean, like, if you have to go, I'm pretty sure that, like, holding it past a certain point is, like, genuinely bad for you. I'm very glad that you broke up with him. I love that you came to Reddit to tell this story, and I hope you're doing better in life now, because this is very funny. You got some good karma for this one. All right, let's get into some of these comments. OP is clearly a legend. All right, so the top comment says, somewhere those cats are still telling the tale of the day the giant marked our territory. Probably why they won't use that box anymore. You asserted dominance in the most primal way possible. This next comment says, I worked at a place where one of the coworkers' names was Catbox Bob. Bob and his wife got a new kitten, and Bob thought it would be hilarious to take a huge dump in the cat box. He thought his wife would probably be worried slash confused if the kitten had a poop the size of itself. At some point, I guess Bob would laugh and confess to what really went down, literally. So Bob takes off his drawers, gets into position, hovering over the litter box, and starts to materialize his plan. His wife happened to open up the door where Bob was mid-poop and freaked out. The joke was on him when he got caught. This next comment says, a few years ago, we got a new dog, and she didn't take too long to house train, and then one night I got into bed to land in a puddle. I don't think I've ever been as mad in my life, but we all have accidents, and then a few weeks later it happened again just on my side. I swear I've never been so tempted to pee back on a dog. I ended up not, obviously. That was 4 or so years ago. She hasn't had any intentional issues since then, and I still check my bed every time before laying down. I probably would too. My little white dog, Roman, he pooped directly in my shoe right before work, and this is Lance. I don't know if you guys can see him, but he's making his appearance right now. Roman came out from under the bed because he heard his name, and I still check my shoes, like my boots. I check my tall boots to this day, even though I know he wouldn't, but his aim was impeccable. I'm telling you, animals, you know, what are you gonna do? Oh, there's Roman right there. Speaking of, hi baby. He's like, why are you talking about me? Why are you telling this to everybody all over the internet? You're embarrassing me, Mom! All right. Bonus story number 1 is coming from AITAH, and it reads, am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding because my fiance wanted to invite her ex? As always, we are going to be the judge of that. So, we are going to try some premarital counseling first. Our wedding has gone from being called off to being postponed indefinitely. My fiance tried to explain why she wanted to invite her ex, but not only did she keep changing her answers, each one made it way worse for me. First, she tried to explain that she just wanted some payback. I told her, and if he doesn't care, are you going to rub it in his face of our first child, our first home? She said she didn't mean it that way and she just wanted to prove her worth, which I then told her I guess her ex is the only one who can determine her worth. We kept going like this for a while, and there wasn't a single answer she gave that didn't boil down to she cares what her ex thinks, and apparently she can't be happy unless her ex felt some sort of way. She denied it, but honestly I find it hard to believe her. I don't want our marriage to be only worth something if her ex is still the only one who can determine it. I refuse to be with someone whose happiness revolves around their ex's feelings. I decided to at least try some counseling. We've been together for 4 years now. FYI, she was with her ex for about 2 years. 3 years later, she met me. I figure I should try so I can at least say I tried. I mean, that's really admirable of you to want to try premarital counseling. I am a firm believer in therapy. I think therapy really, really works. And I think that if you guys are willing to go into it together with an open mind, that anything could be possible. I don't love that she wants to invite her ex just to spite him. That seems really childish of her. I think that that's also, I mean, I'm here for petty. That's just a little too petty. And I don't even feel like it's petty. I feel like that's being malicious and being intentionally mean. You know, it falls in the category of petty, but more malicious petty rather than funny petty. Alright, so let's get into the comments. The top comment says, her ex was living rent-free in her head and probably will be for a long time. Count yourself fortunate that you're no longer involved in that foolishness. Yeah, I mean, they had been broken up for 3 years when she met you. That's plenty of time that she should have been focused on herself, and if she hadn't focused on herself, then maybe she shouldn't have gotten into a relationship. The next comment replying to that says, and now she will have 2 exes living rent-free. Just wait, and in a few months you will get a wedding invitation. That's definitely a possibility. She could be doing this just because she really wants to be together with him, and that's really unfortunate, and I'm sorry for you if that's the case. The next comment says, he can send a card with a referral to a good marriage counselor in it. Ooh, spicy. Mail back your RSVP and it's just a list of counselors in their area. Someone else says, probably better to recommend a good divorce attorney to the fool who marries her after OP. Yeah, she doesn't sound great. I'm glad you called off the wedding. The second part of the story does say that, like, they broke up. Not too many more details, so you are not the a-hole, my dear. OP, if you're out there, I hope you're healing and I hope you found somebody that is better and more worth your time. Alrighty, our very last story for today is going to also come from AITAH, and you know what that means. We are judging. So this one reads, am I the a-hole for terrorizing my brother, making him live in his own filth? My brothers are all pigs. We had a very traditional house where the girls cleaned and washed the dishes from time to time. We were old enough to walk and stand on chairs, and my brothers never did anything as adults and cannot even turn a washer on. I very much resent how I felt like I had to raise my own father and how holidays and weekends were always spent with my brothers and dads laying around and us cleaning. That's brutal. That's intense. I wouldn't like that either. Even on Christmas, they got to play with their toys and we went in the kitchen. I do not care about excuses like, I was was never taught. We're all adults now and they can YouTube and Google whatever they do not know. I learned how to patch walls, change tires, change oil, etc. All the gendered stuff I was never taught, so I do not see why he can't as well. My brother got put out by his girlfriend after they just had their first kid because he does not help with anything. Absolute disgusting, sad excuse of a man. Again, this is called weaponized incompetence, where they refuse to learn, and so therefore, how can they help if they just don't know? We are in 2025. We are very much living in the future. It is very dystopian. You can go on Google and ask anything. It's free. That's a free source. You can use it. He can use it. Anybody can use it that has access. And if he doesn't have access to something like a phone or a computer, there's the library, or, you know, I'm sure even if he were to ask you, hey, how do I do this? If you were to just show a little bit of effort into wanting to learn, I think maybe it would make things a lot better and a lot less stressful, but it doesn't seem like he's even willing to do that. It seems like he just wants people to take care of him and pick up after him. And his wife was right for leaving him because she's not his wife. She is his maid, his nanny, his baby machine. What's that song? Paris Paloma, labor, all day, every day, therapist, mother, maid. I mean, he made her do too much labor and so she left, and I can't blame her. I don't blame her for kicking him out one bit. Since staying with me, I've forced him to do stuff. When he first moved in, my house went from tidy, clean utopia to a disgusting mess. He would spit sunflower seeds onto the floor. Ew! Hide his food and dirty dishes around the house, spit chewed gum behind the coffee machine, feet from the trash can, hide snack food everywhere, smoke on the toilet, and put cigarettes out on my floor, which is a slap in the face as I asked him not to even smoke inside the house because I do not smoke. Oh my god! That's disgusting! This man deserves prison! Oh, let me stop you there. That's disgusting. Cigarette smoke is vile. Secondhand smoke causes cancer. That's a proven fact. That's disgusting. I don't know, have y'all ever watched those videos of people going into the houses where like people have smoked forever and they go to wash the walls and it's just this yellow grime that comes off? Cigarette smoke is disgusting. I hate smoking. I have asthma. It's disgusting. I mean, quite frankly, like I know a lot of people have addictions to it and that's one thing. I'm not saying that. I feel like it's really gross and I would be furious if somebody smoked in my space. I mean, it changes everything in your house forever. That's disgusting. The chewed gum behind the coffee machine. This man belongs in prison. Oh my god, where did I leave off? She says he leaves his dirty clothes everywhere, even on the living room floor, etc. Even when he orders food for himself, he would not eat at the table and leave it for me to put away for him. Anytime he took anything out of the fridge, he would leave it on the table and would leave my fridge open. I'm not joking. I found maggots 3 times from his mess. Prison. This man deserves prison. That is disgusting. OP, kick him out. Why is he living with you? What? I get he's your brother, but if he's gonna come up in there and disrespect your space like that, kick him out. You don't owe him anything just because he's your brother. You don't owe him anything. You tried. I applaud you for trying. Good job, babe. Get him out. Get him out now, please. This is horrible. She says, I lost it and told him to change his bad behavior totally or get out. Well, he started doing stuff, but as badly as he could. He would put bowls in the dishwasher so they would be filled with nasty water, mop with the same water for days on end, leaving it smelling of rot. Oh. Do laundry by putting it in the washer and leaving it for me to finish. Put away food by throwing it all over the fridge, spilling food everywhere. The best was when he put the syrup away upside down on the top shelf with no lid on, coating my entire fridge in syrup that took hours to clean. Then he would say, I am trying, you're just being a bitch. I hate him. This is disgusting. This is so nasty. This is a grown man behaving like this. I've met children that are better behaved. I lost my temper and I knew I couldn't leave him on the street, so I divided the house. You can leave him on the street because he already acts like he lives on the street, so you might as well put him where he belongs. The cabinet doors all have locks from previous owners, so I got him dishes from Goodwill and forbade him from using any of my dishes, so he is eating on filthy dishes. I made it very clear that anything left on the floors, clothing, etc. gets a 1-day grace period and then it will be thrown away. guy. Same with the few dishes he has, as he would leave them in the sink until they started to grow mold. OP, you are too nice. You're being way too nice to him. Mold is such a serious thing. Even if you don't think you're allergic to it, you most likely are. Mold can very much be deadly. I don't know about from dishes, but I do know in general that is even more contamination to your clean air. I started locking my bathroom door, and he had to use the one in the basement, which I refuse to clean. If his clothes are in the washer for more than 8 hours and I need to reuse it, I dump them wet on his bed. Any trash he leaves lying around goes on his bed. If he orders food and gets up and leaves his leftovers, I leave them to rot. Then they get thrown on his bed. Though twice the idiot has left food out overnight and has came and started angry eating it whilst glaring at me. Both times the idiot got food sickness. I'm so sure he doesn't even have one single brain cell. His last brain cell left his body a long time ago, it seems. He destroyed my fridge again by putting juice in it upside down with the lid barely on, once again destroying my food. So I mopped it up with towels and dumped the towels and all the ruined food on his bed, and then I put a lock on the fridge, as you should have. I can't understand why somebody would just want to put juice in the fridge upside down. That makes no sense to me. That's weird behavior. I'm so sorry to say this, but I really feel like your brother hates you, and I don't think it's anything you've done. I think he hates you because you're a woman, because clearly he did this to his ex-wife. I think that he just hates women, and he thinks that we're all just maids to clean up after him, because he was clearly never taught anything else, and a lot of that's your parents' fault. So sorry to say it, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and he is continuing this nasty cycle. This is really gross. He hates me and says I am terrorizing him. He's terrorizing you! He came up into your space, and you're just giving him a taste of his own medicine. I mean, truly, in the most pure form, you're giving him a taste of his medicine. He's gross, disgusting, repulsive, nasty, funky. He hates me and says I am terrorizing him. I say I was forced to mother him as a child, but was never given parental control to actually teach him how life works. And since my brother used my childhood to treat me like a maid, I will no longer parent him. My view is some lessons have to be learned painfully. I will not gentle parent a grown man who cannot close the fridge. Am I the a-hole? No! You're not the a-hole! Why are you even on here asking? You know you're not the a-hole. Why are you on here asking? You know in your heart that you are not the a-hole. This man is disgusting. I don't care if he's your brother. I don't care if he's your husband. I don't care if he's your boyfriend. I don't care if he's your best friend. I don't care if he's your dad, your uncle, your grandpa. This is so gross. My skin is literally crawling right now. I cannot imagine living in a place like that. I cannot imagine having my stuff completely terrorized. I mean, he's the one that's terrorizing you. You're not terrorizing him. Kick him out. You go and you tell him to GTFO. You don't keep living with him. You are a great person. You have a huge heart. He has shown you that he does not deserve your heart. Kick him out, girl, please. All right, let's get into these comments. So the top comment on this one says, get him out. Why is he even living with you? Did I not just say that? The next comment down says, your brother's real problem is that he is not sufficiently terrorized. Kick him out into the streets. With any luck, that will cause him some real terror. And if it doesn't, oh well, at least he's out of your house. And keep him out. Period. This man is for the streets. He does not belong in a home. Maybe a barn. You want to build him a barn? Sam's Club has some dog houses that you can buy. He should not be living under your roof in your utopia of a clean house as you previously described it. The next comment says, this is the question. I mean, smoking in the house is bad enough, but putting it out on the floor? I forgot about that. He's putting it out on the floor. I hate him. He'd have been flying out of my house right then if he wasn't already. OP, you don't deserve the treatment he's giving you or that the rest of the males in your family have, and he doesn't deserve to live under your roof. If you don't want him to be homeless, put a refrigerator box in your backyard, change the locks, and tell him he's moving out to Frigidaire Estates. And if he takes care of his new home, you'll upgrade him to the model with the optional waxed paper skylight. Seriously, he's not your problem. Kick him to the curb, literally. He belongs in the gutter outside of a prison. This last comment says, it seems like he actively hates her, right? It's the syrup in the fridge that would have sent me over the edge. What a pain in the ass to clean. It really is. I spilled a bottle of syrup one time, dropped it on my floor, and it was made of glass and it shattered, and it was a sticky mess. It was not fun. I was really mad. I'm the one that did it though. Ooh, cleaning up after somebody else like that. I don't even think I can say on YouTube what I would do to someone if they intentionally poisoned my space like that. There is one update from OP. It says, update, I could not believe my eyes when I opened Reddit and saw the number of notifications. Wow. So just to update everyone, things came to a head today. I had to work in the early shift and had session with my table tonight at 6 a.m. I'm DMing a few D&D games. I begged my brother to keep the living room clean. I came home and the house was more than trashed. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off. He even dropped a cup of milk on the floor and left it. I flung the whole milk jug at his head and screamed at him to GTFO. He tried to bulk up to me and I lost it screaming, get out, over and over and over again, because I guess he saw unhinged I was because he stormed out. I cleaned up the milk, then jumped online to message everyone to cancel and saw the 700 plus notifications. You all gave me some really solid advice and I knew reading the replies last minute that this was over. I was gonna give him a few weeks, but seeing that milk all across my new floor was the last straw. I don't know where he is going. I don't care. Thank you all. I love Reddit people. End of update. I'm glad you kicked him out. I'm really proud of you. I really hope that you are able to get your space clean. If you need to hire someone, it sounds like you might be in a decent position to do that. You know, take some time to yourself because this man is disgusting. I'm very sorry that he is part of your bloodline. He sounds awful. He sounds very entitled. He sounds very misogynistic. I'm really proud of you in case you haven't heard it enough today. I know the people of Reddit are very proud of you as well. And yeah, I will see you guys on Tuesday for the next episode. Be sure to comment below. I want to know who the biggest a-hole of all of these stories was today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye!